Hi and welcome to this interview with Herantis Pharma. With me on link today I have the interim CEO Frans Wuite. Welcome, Frans.
Thank you, guys.
Since you are new to us, I thought maybe you could start by introducing yourself and telling us a bit about your background.
Happy to do so. So I have joined Herantis Pharma in 2014 as board member. And due to the CEO transition in January this year, I've stepped in as the interim CEO. And of my background, I can mention that I'm a medical doctor by training, but I worked most of my professional life in the pharmaceutical industry. Initially in large pharma, thereafter in smaller pharma. So that's roughly my background.
And what can you tell us about the search for a permanent CEO?
Well, it's a bit early to say. It's only been 1 month so far, so I'd be happy to fill you in later.
We will have to wait and see. So let's talk about last year. Following preclinical data in 2021, you decided to focus your development on HER96. Tell us about this decision and more about the candidate.
Okay, I think about HER96, that was very crisp and clear to us why we selected this. It has such prominent and promising results in the preclinical stage. Not only was its efficacy and this mechanism of action confirmed in the studies that we did last year, but we were also able in the first animal model to show that it readily passes the blood-brain barrier. This is a big hurdle for pharma companies moving forward, and there's been a lot of transactions in this area lately around phase 1 timeline of development. So we have really zoomed in on now demonstrating also hopefully soon in man next year that we are able to have HER96 penetrating the blood-brain barrier in man as well.
Okay, and tell us a bit about what's going to happen now to your other candidate, CDNF.
Well, CDNF, we have looked also into alternative administration routes. So CDNF is a large molecule, and that large molecule cannot pass the blood-brain barrier, meaning that it cannot be given subcutaneously in a more patient-convenient way. It has to be administered into the brain, so intracranially. You can imagine that's not an easy job to do, and that's not for chronic treatment an appropriate way of treating patients. So the CDNF, we've looked into administering via powder or via a spray in the nose and through that administration route, hopefully to be able to reach the brain. Those results in animal studies are still outstanding, but we hope to conclude on that during this first half of this year. After that, we will just halt and pause the development of CDNF further because we think that 96 has more promise because it can be administered subcutaneously.
Okay, and then you will focus all of your efforts on HER96. What would you say is the biggest challenge for your company right now?
Well, the development of HER96 has been going very fast, and that means that we have had to revise some timelines and planning that we had in our mind, meaning also that the clinical stages will be approaching quicker than we had perhaps anticipated. And with clinical stages and clinical development, as you can imagine, also the resources are different than they are in preclinical stage. So funding for those next steps will be very relevant to us, and we would need to secure funding in order to be able to move on, and we'll look into that also this year.
Is there anything else that has happened during the second half of 2021 that you would like to mention?
Well, I think I would say that we have been very happy about the fact that we've been able to recruit an esteemed scientific advisory board. It consists of 4 members, 2 from the academia and 2 also with a rich industry background, all leaders in drug development and new therapy development for Parkinson's disease. So with that, we are in good hands. They will guide our development work going forward.
So my final question is, what are you going to be focusing on during 2022?
Well, we'll have to still get our house in order, meaning in this case, our act together for the CTA application. So the drug application for a clinical study, you have to do a preclinical safety and tox, preclinical pharmacokinetics, a package of data that you submit to the authorities in order to be able to move into man. And that's what we are focusing on this year. So it's all preparatory work, generating and compiling data, and we look to conclude that by the end of the year.
Sounds like you will be having a busy year. Thank you so much, Frans, for joining me today.
Thank you, guys.